Hey guys, so don't forget our test is on Wednesday. It's easy to forget if you have that day off with the election day, but just know that coming back from that day you will have your test. So as you can see, it's on Unit 3, Exponents and Scientific Notation. So let's take a look at this. Number 1, simplify the expression. So remember here you want to think of MADS PM, and that these go together, and these go together. And if you want, write B, E, so that means base, exponent, base, exponent, base, exponent. So when you have the same bases being multiplied, then you add their exponents. Okay? If you have the same bases being divided, you subtract their exponents. And then if you have parentheses, you multiply the outside with the inside exponents. You distribute. Okay, so it's always a good idea to draw windows, but since that's so tiny, I'm just going to go ahead and start here. All right, I'm going to rewrite it. And that way I can draw my big old windows. Okay? And the thing is, like, if you draw windows, I think that's half the battle, because then you at least see the parts, and then you might start doing something with it. So whenever you see a number on top and bottom, always look for an opportunity to use the greatest common factor to reduce it. So some of you look at this and say, hey, those are both even. I'm going to divide by 2. Great. You're going to find that you have to divide by 2 again, because you divided by a common factor, but not the greatest common factor. So the greatest common factor between 4 and 8, if you think about it, okay, what multiplies with 4? What two numbers multiply to be 4? Well, number 1 and 4 are factors, and then 2 in itself is a factor. 1 and 8 will multiply, and then 2 and 4 will multiply. So now, obviously they're going to have 1 as a common factor, 2 as a common factor, but then 4 is the greatest common factor. Okay, so we're going to divide by 4. So then 4 divided by 4 is 1, and then you still have an x to the 5th on top. 8 divided by 4 is 2, and you still have an x on the bottom. So if I were to rebox, okay, then what I have here, I'm going to have to rewrite it. I have a x up here and x down here connected by division. So when we divide, we subtract exponents. There's an invisible 1 we'll make visible. 5 minus 1 is 4. Always keep it on top. Unless it ends up being negative, then flip it to the bottom. But start from the top. So 5 minus 1 is 4. And then I'm going to leave this 1 invisible. And then this is gone because you've taken care of both of these. So you have a 2. So the answer is x to the 4th over 2. And that is your final answer. Okay? Again, try to do it, like even this one, try to do that on your own. And if you get stuck, then get the video and don't get frustrated, okay? Just try again and learn, and then you should be okay. So I'm going to actually rewrite it up here. I was kind of talking while I was doing it and wasn't thinking to just go ahead and do this first. So here we are. The greatest common factor for 20 and 6 is actually 2. So I'm going to divide by 2, divide by 2. That's 10 on the top and 3 on the bottom. And then I'm going to subtract. And remember, stay at the top first. So what's 2 minus 3? Well, 2 minus 3, guys, okay? 2 minus, whoops, not plus, 2 minus 3 equals negative 1. So while the y is staying on top, the exponent is negative 1. Now you know when you have a negative exponent, you're not done, okay? Now I can't do anything more with 10 and 3, so that stays. But this is going to go down and become a positive 1. And then we're going to make the 1 be invisible, so it's going to be 10 over 3y. And that's your answer, okay? Number 3, convert the number into scientific notation. Well, I'm going to box the non-zero, put the decimal on the right side of it, okay? So then that will be 4 times, and that's a negative. Don't forget there's a negative there. And I kind of wrote over the decimal. I don't want that to get hidden, so there it is. So I have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places to the left. So it's going to be a negative 5 because I went left. Okay, so definitely the negative. This is out because there's no negative here. It's positive. This is negative, 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 and then you went 5 to the left. So it will be this one. Now this is a trap because if you started on the wrong side of 4 and you went left 4, you would have chosen this one. So be very careful. This is a trap. Okay, this is also a trap because of the positive 4 and everything else is right. Number 4. All right, so if we do MADS PM, what we have here going on is parentheses, and if you see here, this 3 is going to multiply with that 4. Well, what's 3 times 4? That's 12. So your answer should be C. Number 5, I'm going to go ahead and box, or I would say windows, okay? Oops, not there. Include the exponent. Now there's a lot of ways to do this, guys. There's a lot of ways to do this. However, I'll try one way, maybe 2 ways. I'll try 2 ways. So what's the greatest common factor of 18 and 15? Well, 18 you have 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6, whereas 15 you have 1 and 15, 3 and 5. Well, it turns out 3 is the greatest common factor of these. So I'm going to divide the top and bottom by 3. 18 divided by 3 is 6. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Now maybe I'll kind of move things around. There's so many ways to do this, okay? If you want, you can go ahead and subtract, because I see an M here and M here. So if I do that, I have a negative 3 minus a negative 5. So watch how I do that on my calculator. I do a negative 3, okay? Let me see if I can make it show up. There you go, okay? Negative 3 minus a negative 5. That makes it a double negative. It should end up being positive 2. So you get positive 2. So let's try this again, okay? You have a negative 3 minus a negative 5. Well, minusing a negative 5 becomes positive. So if you do 3 negative plus 5, it does come out to be positive. Or if you do 3 negative minus a 5 negative, it still gives you 2, okay? So the m's are taken care of. We've already taken care of the numbers. So now let's do this one. So n, the first minus 3. So 1 minus 3, okay? 1, here's a minus button, minus 3, okay? So then when I press equals, you should get a negative 2. So we always start off at the top. Now, hopefully you see that and you're like, wait a minute, I can't let this stay. These are okay. This is a window, window, window. But this one needs to go down. So you keep the 6 at the top, the m squared at the top, the 5 on the bottom, and then n to the second power on the bottom. And you can't do anything with that. Yes, their exponents are the same, but are the bases the same? No. So you're done. So it's not this, because that's not even simplified, so that's not right. Okay, all of these have 6, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5. Okay, we're on the right track with that. And then just make sure the m is the one that's on top. So that's what's tricky about this one. They put the n on top, so no. Here, m squared on top, yeah. Let's double check over here. Oh yeah, they put an m to the 8th here for some reason. So C is correct. And then here, this one says in standard, so this is a positive 4, which means you need to do, take this decimal, multiply by 10, multiply by 10, multiply by 10, and multiply by 10. But do not think that's your final answer. You should not have your answer with a decimal here and a decimal here. You should get rid of that, and it becomes negative 7, 3, 3, 0, 0, and then there's your comma. So first of all, make sure it's negative. This is not even negative. That's not even negative. So let's go over here. We got negative and negative, and then this would make the most sense, or it is the correct answer. So that's all you had to do for homework. Hopefully, this one we've already done in class. Remember, when you have a negative exponent, does not mean you have a negative answer, so don't fall for those traps. And then remember, it goes down and becomes a positive exponent. And don't fall for the trap thinking that's 3 times 2. That's a trap. It's 3 times 3, so the answer is B. All right, and we already did these problems in class as well. Your homework was only to do up to numbers 6 and 7. But if you missed class today, then make sure you get this from a classmate. So this is the end of the video, but if you want to do the back and you want to get started on it, feel free. We will do this in class on Monday. And some of us, we did number 14 already. So 14 you should especially be able to do, okay? All right, that is the end of the video, and don't forget the test is on Wednesday.